Besides daily attacks on refineries, Ukrainian forces are striking Russian strategic and military sites. In Smolensk, explosions were recorded at night in the area of the aircraft plant after an air raid alert was announced due to a drone threat. According to the media, local residents reported explosions in the area of the airfield where the Smolensk aircraft plant is also located. In one of the videos recorded by a local resident, a trail can be seen resembling that left by surface-to-air missiles after launch. Meanwhile, OSINT expert Blinska conducted a geolocation analysis of the video on their X page, which made it possible to determine the exact location of the cameraman and the direction of filming. The analysis showed that the smoke was rising from the direction of the aircraft plant. Meanwhile, a column of smoke rose over the airfield itself after the explosion, which may be connected to drone strikes on production facilities. It is worth noting that the Smolensk aviation plant has been placed on the sanctions lists of the European Union, Ukraine, and other countries around the world because it produces KH-59 precision missiles and components for KH-101 cruise missiles, which Russia uses to strike Ukraine. In addition, the official website of the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, warsanctions.gov.ua, published further information about the plant's involvement with the Russian defense industry, namely, production of unmanned aerial vehicles, aerial target drones, assemblies for frontline aviation, and light engine aircraft for various purposes. It is worth noting that the Ukrainian Defense Forces had already attacked this plant in January 2025. According to the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine, that strike disrupted the production process of Russian KH-59 air-to-surface missiles of various modifications. The plant was also targeted by a strike in November 2023. Despite Russia's numerical air superiority, the Ukrainian Air Force continues to dominate key sectors of the sky. A recent MiG-29 strike near Dolinka in the Vasilivka sector showcased Ukraine's precision and tactical edge. The fighter successfully targeted Russian positions, hitting armored vehicles, fortifications, and supply points while evading enemy air defenses. These operations highlight how Ukraine combines advanced training, real-time intelligence, and agile maneuvering to offset Russia's larger fleet. Even against heavier and more numerous adversaries, Ukrainian pilots are able to conduct rapid strikes, disrupt enemy movements, and maintain air dominance over critical frontline areas, proving that skill and strategy can outweigh raw numbers in modern aerial warfare. A fire broke out in a warehouse in an electrical plant near Moscow. This was announced by the press service of the Ministry of Emergency Situations of Russia. A fire was reported at the address, 8 Arabochaya Street, Elektrostal City District. Fire and rescue units are extinguishing the fire and protecting neighboring buildings from fire, the report says. 55 people and 17 pieces of equipment were involved in extinguishing the fire. The area of the fire is currently being clarified. As a result of the incident, the roof of the warehouse partially collapsed. Earlier in the day, a fire was reported in an apartment building in Sosnovoborsk, Krasnoyarsk territory. The Ministry of Emergency Situations of the Russian Federation reported that the flame was localized on an area of 2,000 square meters. Later it was reported that the fire had been eliminated. One person was killed in the incident. Later, the head of the city, Alexei Kudryavtsev, clarified that the number of victims of the fire had increased to 5. In Russia, mysterious fires frequently erupt at defense facilities and affiliated companies. Yet no one publicly acknowledges that Ukrainian guerrillas may be behind them. There's a chance now to really dismantle the Russian war economy and punish those who enable it, David Petraeus, a former director of the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, said. In an interview with Welt, he stressed that Ukrainian attacks on Russian oil refineries already contribute to the destruction of the Russian economy, but it is also necessary to take action against those who are buying Russian gas and oil, as well as those who sell components, chips, and parts that allow the Russian military-industrial complex to keep producing weapons systems, ammunition, and the like. Petraeus also mentioned that next year, Russian National Welfare Fund will run out of money, so it's high time for Europe and the US to implement new sanctions. If you combine all these measures, smash the Russian war economy, punish those who enable it, and support Ukraine even more strongly than before, you change the dynamics on the battlefield. Then Putin will finally realize that this is a war he cannot afford to continue. He will then have to negotiate seriously about how to end it, the former CIA director said. Russian propagandists want Ukraine and Europe to pay reparations to Russia. And what reparations could Ukraine pay? Belgium will pay. France will pay. The Netherlands too.
I think the time has come to publicly inform the Europeans, Belgium and the Euroclique that look, later when Russia will be taking reparations from Ukraine for the inflicted damage, then these amounts which will be seized from Russian assets, we will add to those reparations. The more you seize there, the more reparations we will later take from Ukraine, and let them then calculate their risks and ask where we will get this money from. In the end, we will take property.
The opera theater in Odessa there? Or what is there? Why should we pay for something that is already ours?
Not ours yet.
And what reparations can Ukraine pay so Belgium will pay?
Well, later.
And France will pay.
We will be asking from Belgium, from France. We understand perfectly well how this will end.
We will be asking in the military tribunal.
Here, in The Hague and
in Donetsk.
The Estonian Border Guard Board closed the Satsi border crossing on October 10th after border guards observed higher than usual Russian military activity on the territory of the Russian Federation. ERR reported on this. Russian border guards regularly patrol the Satsibut area, as it is their territory. Today, the activity was more intense than usual. We decided to close the road to prevent possible provocations and incidents, as our goal is to ensure the safety of the people of Estonia, the agency explained. At first, border guards stationed patrols on both sides of the road, who spoke with drivers and explained that due to increased Russian activity, it was currently recommended to avoid this section. However, despite the warning, some people ignored the recommendation, so the border guards decided to temporarily close the road to prevent escalation. The Satsibut, Satsi Sabas, is a uniquely shaped stretch of Russian territory, resembling a boot, that extends into Estonia near the village of Satsi. It belongs to Krupskaya Volost, in the Pechorsky district of Russia's Pskov region, and is known for its distinctive geography and unusual position along the border. The road between the settlements of Verska and Satsi passes through the Satsibut along a stretch approximately 1 kilometer long. Drivers and cyclists on the Estonian side are permitted to pass through the Russian section without undergoing border control or obtaining a visa, provided they do not stop until re-entering Estonian territory. The opportunity to transit through Russian territory is used not only by local residents. This section of road has also become a tourist attraction in the region. The area known as the Boot was supposed to be transferred to Estonia in exchange for 2 parcels of land in the Verska and Meremäe municipalities, according to an agreement signed in 2005 by the foreign ministers of Estonia and Russia. However, the treaty was never ratified. In 2024, Lauri Läänemets, Estonia's Minister of the Interior, ruled out any territorial exchanges with Russia. In 2008, a new road connecting Sesniki and Matsuri was opened, allowing access to the mentioned villages without the need to pass through the Boot. A shorter bypass road, 4.7 kilometers long, is planned for completion in 2026, after which access to the Boot will be closed off. In June 2025, due to growing security threats, Estonia started constructing a network of defensive border structures along its eastern frontier. As part of this project, a 40-kilometer anti-tank trench is planned to be dug along the Estonian-Russian border over the next 2 years. The engineering work is part of Estonia's planned Baltic Defense Zone system. The plan aims to establish a defensive zone along the border with Russia, approximately 100 kilometers long and about 40 kilometers wide from the land border. Additionally, 600 concrete bunkers are to be constructed. Latvia has ordered 841 Russian citizens to leave by October 13th after failing to meet new immigration rules, including language and security checks. Following Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Latvia tightened its laws. Those who remain without compliance face loss of services and possible deportation. Around 2,600 have already left voluntarily. This is the way.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comments section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.